What's going on, everybody? It is Slash687 here, back at it again with another PC build guide video. Today I have a $400 gaming PC. $400 is the budget where I'd say it's worth it to buy new parts, where, you know, you just build a completely new PC out of only new parts. Under that, I'd say it's probably better to buy a used PC and upgrade it, but for $400, you can get a pretty good, completely new gaming PC. If you're interested in this build, please use the links in the description to purchase the parts. They are my Amazon associate links, and if you use them, I get a small kickback, and it helps me build these PCs in real life. So if you're interested in this PC or any other item in general on Amazon, I have a link for the Amazon website as a whole down in the description as well. But if you use those links, I'd appreciate it, but let's get into the build. Starting off with the CPU, I have the AMD Athlon X4 860K. It is a quad-core CPU clocked at 3.7 GHz that turbos up to 4.0 GHz. It's based on the socket FM2 Plus, so there are a lot of motherboards out there that are fairly cheap that support it. It is based on the 28nm process and has a TDP of 95 watts. So as far as overclockable, low-budget CPUs go, this is really high up there as far as budget for your money goes. This thing's very good. Overclock's very high if you have the proper cooling, and I do have an aftermarket CPU cooler in this build, so you're going to be able to get some pretty decent clock speeds out of this thing. And that CPU cooler I'm talking about is the Cooler Master Hyper T2 sleeve bearing CPU cooler. It only has 2 heat pipes, but when you compare it to a stock AMD cooler, this thing just blows it out of the water. You're going to be able to overclock decently. It's not going to be as good as a Hyper 212 Evo, but it's the next step down. It's still good enough to get some pretty good overclocks. And when you're dealing with a CPU that's only $75, if you're spending, $30 on a cooler to cool a $70 CPU, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So for only $12, this is a very good CPU cooler to use with our Athlon X4 860K. For the motherboard, I have the MSI A68HM E33 V2 Micro ATX Socket FM2 Plus motherboard. This thing supports up to 32 gigabytes of DDR3, and it has 2 memory slots, so if you are willing to go for that 32 gigabytes in the future, you're gonna have to swap out the RAM that I already have in there. So that's a downside with only having 2 memory slots, but it doesn't support Crossfire SLI. It has 4 SATA 6 gigabit per second ports, so that's not really bad at all. And it's pretty bare bones. It's a micro ATX. It's not a full size. You aren't getting a lot of upgrade paths down the line, and like I said, it's not going to support Crossfire, it's not going to support SLI, it's pretty bare minimum, and it's just going to be able to do what we need it to do in this build and nothing more. Nothing really crazy, nothing fancy going on with this motherboard. For the RAM, I went with the Kingston HyperX Fury Black Kit. It's 2 4GB sticks of DDR3 clocked at 1600 MHz. Kingston makes great memory, that goes without saying. 4.8 stars on this RAM, this particular set. Like I said, 8 gigabytes of the stuff that comes in 2 4GB sticks, so you can take advantage of dual channel memory. Overall, it's going to do what you need it to do. It does have a pretty nice looking heat shield on it, but other than that, it's just RAM, and it's going to be reliable. And for $30, 8 gigabytes, pretty good deal. Next up, the hard drive. You see this in all my builds. It's a Seagate Barracuda 1TB HDD. It's 7200 RPM, so your standard speed as far as hard drives go. 1 terabyte is very, very good on a $400 build. I would recommend going for 2 terabytes if you can afford to spend the extra $20. I'll have the link to a 2 terabyte hard drive in the description, because overall, as far as game sizes go and file sizes in general, it's just constantly increasing, and 1 terabyte does not get you nearly as far as it used to. So if you can afford it, like I say, go for 2 terabytes. It's only $20 more, but 1 terabyte really isn't that bad in a $400 build, and the Seagate Barracuda is a very good hard drive. Next up, for the GPU, I have the Asus Radeon R9 380. It's a 2 gigabyte version, so you aren't getting the 4 gigabytes of VRAM that you would get in the other versions, but if you do have the extra money, I would recommend getting the 4 gigabyte version simply for future-proofing, as people like to call it. Even though future-proofing doesn't exist, stuff's always going to wear out. But for $135 for an R9 380, that is a very, very good deal. And I know there are already going to be people typing up a comment as I speak saying, oh, wait for the RX 480, all that jazz. But hey, that thing's not out yet, so I can't put it in the video, can I? Overall though, R9 380, $135. It beats the GTX 960 in most benchmarks, and for the money, you really can't beat it. $135, very good deal for the Asus Radeon R9 380, but like I said, if you can afford the 4GB version, I would recommend that. For the case, I went with the Enermax Thorax ATX mid-tower case. It's a decent looking case that's going to support our motherboard and our hard drive, but it really isn't that great. It's $29, so the price is right, but as far as aesthetics go, I really don't care for it. And as far as build materials go, it's not really that great. A lot of plastic, kind of cheap looking, and from what I've heard, cheap feeling. But it's gonna get the job done. It's gonna hold all our parts, and at the end of the day, $29, it's really not that bad of a deal. Lastly, the power supply. I have the EVGA 500 watt 80 plus certified power supply. EVGA makes some of the best budget power supplies in the market right now. For only $27, you're getting a 500 watt 80 plus certified power supply that's going to be able to power our GPU just fine. It has two 6-pin connectors, so as far as power delivery goes, we should be a-okay without any adapters. And the wattage, like I said, 500 watts is going to be plenty to power our build, and EVGA power supplies are very, very reliable. For only $27, you really can't beat this power supply. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. I hope you liked this build. If you did, be sure to click that like button, and if you're interested in purchasing any of the parts you saw in this video, be sure to use the links in the description so I get that kickback, and hopefully I can make this build in real life or a build similar to it to show you guys the performance and benchmark it and all that fun stuff. So I hope you all enjoyed. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment if you have any questions, and the beautiful men and women in the Slash think tank will help you out. We'll solve the world's problems. We'll build PCs like madmen. I'll see you all later. Peace.